The following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter number 16, text number 23, given by His Grace Sriman Sankarshan Das Adhikari, recorded on August 28th, 2009, in Sofia, Bulgaria.
So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter 16, text number 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Natvang jijautamam kulam yadi hatma gopam gopta vrisha svahanena sasunitrena trayeva nangshyati shivastavadeva panta loko grahishyad vrishabhayasya itat pramanam. O Lord, you are the protector of the highest of the twice-born. If you do not protect them by offering worship in mild words, then certainly the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by people in general who act on the strength and authority of your lordship. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated by the Lord Himself that the acts and character of the great authorities are followed by people in general. Leaders of ideal character are therefore needed in society. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared in this material world just to show the example of perfect authority, and people have to follow His path. The Vedic injunction is that one cannot understand the absolute truth simply by mental speculation or logical argument. One has to follow the authorities. Mahajana yena gata sapanta. Great authorities should be followed. Otherwise, if we simply depend on the scriptures, we are sometimes misled by rascals, or else we cannot understand or follow the different spiritual injunctions. The best path is to follow the authorities. The four Brahmana sages stated that Krishna is naturally the protector of the cows and Brahmins. Go Brahmana itaya cha. When Krishna was on this planet, He set a practical example. He was a cowherd boy, and He was very respectful to the Brahmins and devotees. It is also affirmed herein that the Brahmins are the best of the twice-born. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are all twice-born, but the Brahmanas are the best. When there is a fight between two persons, each of them protects the upper part of his body, the head, the arms, and the belly. Similarly, for the actual advancement of human civilization, the best part of the social body, namely the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas, the intelligent class of men, the military class, and the mercantile men, should be given special protection. Protection of the laborers should not be neglected, but special protection should be given to the upper orders. Of all classes of men, the Brahmins and the Vaishnavas should be given special protection. They should be worshipped. When their protection is performed, it's just like worshipping God. That is not exactly protection. It is a duty. One should worship the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas by offering them all kinds of endowments and sweet words. And if one has no means to offer anything, he must at least use sweet words to pacify them. The Lord personally exhibited this behavior towards the Kumaras. If this system is not introduced by the leaders, then human civilization will be lost. When there is no protection and special treatment for persons who are devotees of the Lord, who are highly intelligent in spiritual life, then the whole society is lost. The word nakshanti, nankshati, indicates that such a civilization becomes spoiled and is annihilated. The kind of civilization recommended here is called Devapata, which means the royal road of the demigods. Demigods are supposed to be fully fixed in devotional service of Krishna consciousness. That is the auspicious path that should be protected. If the authorities or leaders of society do not give special respect to the Brahmins and Vaishnavas, and do not offer them not only sweet words, but all facilities, then the path of progress will be lost to human civilization. The Lord personally wanted to teach this, and therefore he offered so much praise to the Kumaras. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Prijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha So many times I am asked, how do you avoid committing offenses to devotees? It's a pretty important question. Because of all the 10 Nahaparabhas, which is the first one, to be offensive towards devotees. In other words, if one is offensive towards devotees, how much spiritual progress you will make? None. Zero. So we could make a big sign in the temple. Whatever you do, do not be ever offensive towards a devotee. And then all the guests would come and they would see this big sign and be afraid to do anything. They'd be afraid to talk to anybody. You don't want to say anything. Maybe if you speak to a devotee, you might be offensive. I mean, you don't want to say anything. You have to be careful. Don't say a word, I mean, even if you look at a devotee, you might look at him in the wrong way. You see, you'd be offensive by looking at him in an offensive way. And to really be safe, what if you think about a devotee in an offensive way? Better not even think about the devotees. And then, well, to be really safe, I know, I just won't ever go to the temple. Then I make sure not to commit any offenses. So, the idea to not offend devotees is a good idea. But if that's the only thing we teach you, then what will you do? How will you associate with them? There has to be a positive instruction also. And this is the positive instruction in today's verse. In fact, Prabhupada says, he says they must be worshipped. I'm looking for he read it in the purport itself. He says that actually the devotees should be worshipped. Does that mean you have to offer arti to all the devotees? No, although you could. I mean, nothing. Actually, the proper etiquette for receiving a devotee is bathe his feet and offer him the arti. Give him a sitting place and feed him very nicely. That is the way to receive a Vaishnava. Just like when Sudama Brahmana, he went to Dwarka, how did Krishna receive him? Krishna gave him a nice sitting place, he bathed his feet, everything. You see. So actually to worship Vaishnavas, that is the proper mood, you see. And this is confirmed by Narottam Das Thakur. Anande bolo hadi bhaja vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava pade majaiya man. Ecstatically chant Hare Krishna. Worship the holy Dham. And always worship the lotus feet of Guru and Vaishnava. So, as mentioned here, you give them endowments and sweet words. You give them gifts. You give money. Give service. Give everything you possibly can to the devotees. And if you have nothing else to give, at least you should speak some sweet words. So in this way, you see, one can worship the devotees. And Krishna will become very, very pleased. In fact, it is stated by Krishna to Arjuna, as recorded in the Adi Purana. Name bhaktash, what is it? One who is the devotee, one who, Krishna says, one who is my devotee, he is not my devotee. But the one who is the devotee of my devotee, he is my real devotee. Na me bhaktascha chaye parata, na me bhaktascha chaye janaha, mad bhaktanan chaye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamata. So, do you want to be the devotee of Krishna?
Искате ли да бъдете преданно дадени на Кришна?
Then you have to be the devotee of the devotees of Krishna.
Тогава трябва да станете предани на преданно дадените.
If you are not devoted to the devotees,
Ако не сте отдадени
Krishna
на
says, who is this rascal
Кришна си казва, какъв е този негодник,
posing himself as my devotee?
който се представя за мой преданно даден.
He's putting on tilak,
Слага си тилак,
he's wearing kantimala,
носи кантимала,
he's wearing dhoti and kurta.
носи доти и курта.
He's posing as a devotee,
Представя се за преданно даден.
but he's not the devotee of my devotees. I reject him.
Но той не е преданно даден на моите преданно дадени, тогава го отхвърлям.
So, to whatever extent we are the devotees of the devotees, to that extent we are Krishna conscious.
И такава степента, в която ние сме предани на преданно дадените на Кришна, в такава степен сме Кришна осъзнати.
So we have to always think how to serve the Vaishnavas,
Затова ние трябва винаги да мислиме как да служим на вайшнавите.
how to give them first-class loving service.
Как да им отдаваме първа класа любовно служене.
Not that we serve them begrudgingly, that, I don't want to do this, but I have to do it, with a bad attitude.
А не да им служиме с лошо чувство. Не ми се прави това, но трябва да го свършим.
We serve them with love.
Ние трябва да им служиме с любов.
Just like Krishna says, Patram pushpam palam payang yome bhakta prayachati. That if one offers me with love and devotion, and leaf, note the term with love and devotion. You see? If Krishna offers me with love and devotion, and anyone who offers me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, food or water, I will accept it.
Както Кришна казва в Бхагавад Гита, ако някой ми предложи с любов и преданост, забележете тези думи, листов, цвете, плод или вода, аз ще ги приема.
He doesn't say, if you offer me a fruit, flower, leaf or water, I will accept it. He doesn't say that.
Кришна не казва просто, ако ми предложиш листов, цвете, плод или вода, ще ги приема.
He says, if you will offer it with love, then I will accept it.
Кришна казва, ако ми предложи тези неща с любов, само тогава ще ги приема.
So, love is the important ingredient.
Така любовта е важната съставка.
You see, that's what Krishna wants. He wants to love.
Това е което Кришна иска, тази любов.
So is that love only for Krishna?
Тази любов само за Кришна ли е предназначена?
Or is that love, don't clean your nose in the temple room? Is that love only for Krishna?
Тази любов само за Кришна ли е?
No, that love also is for Krishna's devotees.
Не, тази любов е предназначена за преданно дадените на Кришна също така.
So, how much we love the devotees, you see, that is how much we are Krishna conscious.
Така степента, в която обичаме преданно дадените на Кришна, в така степен на Кришна осъзнаване.
You can judge your own Krishna consciousness.
Човек може да прецени доколко е Кришна осъзнат.
When you think of devotees within your mind, do you think about their nice qualities?
Когато мислите за преданно дадените в ума си, мислите ли за тяхните хубави качества?
Or do you find fault with the devotees?
Или търсите някакви недостатъци?
What is more interesting to you, their faults or their good qualities?
Кое ви е по-интересно? Техните недостатъци или техните...
Of course, we all have our faults.
Разбира се, ние всички знаем нашите недостатъци.
So we could just think about the faults of the devotees.
И ние може просто да мислим за недостатъците на преданно дадените.
A person who is more interested in the faults of the devotees, he is compared to a fly.
Този, който повече се интересува от недостатъците на преданно дадените, се сравнява с...
And the one who is more interested in the good qualities of the devotees, he is compared to a honeybee.
А този, който повече се интересува от добрите качества на преданно дадените, се сравнява с пчела.
The fly, they are attracted to stool.
Мухата е привлечена към изпражнението.
And the honeybee, he is interested in the honey.
А пък пчелата се интересува от меда.
So a devotee, he is not a fly, he is a honeybee.
Преданно даденият не е муха, той е като пчела.
So you can judge your own mind.
Така може да
Do you have a fly mind or do you have a honeybee mind?
оцените какъв ум имате. Ум
If you have a mind of a fly, then you're not very Krishna conscious.
Ако умът ви е като муха, вие не сте много Кришна осъзнати.
And if you have the mind of a honeybee, then actually you're doing very nicely. You're advancing very nicely in the path of bhakti.
Ако умът ви е като на пчелата, вие напредвате много добре в Кришна състояние.
So what do you do if you have a fly mind? What to do with it?
Какво да правите, ако умът ви е като ума на муха?
Then you have to beat your mind in submission.
Тогава трябва да биете ума си.
You rascal mind, why do you keep looking for faults in the devotees? Don't you see that you yourself are full of faults?
Глупав ум, негоден, защо търсиш недостатъци в преданодаването? Виж, че ти имаш самия...
This is why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gave this instruction.
Шрила Бхактисидханта Сарасвати Такур даде тази инструкция.
That in the morning, you should beat your mind with shoes 100 times.
Сутрин трябва да бием ума си с обувки 100 пъти.
And in the evening, you beat your mind with broomstick 100 times.
А пък вечер пак 100 пъти да го бием, но с този път с метла.
Because in our present state of consciousness, our minds are like flies.
Защото в настоящото ни състояние на съзнание, умовете са ни като пчели.
We're lusty,
Като мухи.
we're angry,
Похотливи,
we're greedy,
гневни.
we're illusioned.
Ние сме филми.
Practically, we're insane.
На практика ние сме луди.
And it's all coming from envy.
И всичко това идва от...
That is our present status, psychological status.
Това е настоящия ни психологически състояние.
So, we have to bring that mind under control.
Затова трябва да покорим този ум.
So, what is the best shoes and broomstick?
Кои са най-добрите обувки и метли?
Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So we will regularly chant this Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then that fly-like mind, it will become conquered.
Ако редовно повтаряме Харе Кришна Махамантра, този ум, подобен на муха, ще бъде...
And the natural honeybee within, it will become activated.
И тогава този естествен менталитет на пчелата ще се активира.
Our actual position is we are liberated.
Нашата истинска позиция е, че ние сме освободени.
Just like the sun is shining constantly, the fire of pure bhakti is actually already there burning within our heart.
Както слънцето постоянно свети, така и огънят на бхакти вече гори в сърцата ни.
Simply, it is covered by smoke right now, very thick smoke.
Просто в момента той е покрит с много гъст дим.
But Prabhupada actually says we're already liberated.
Шрила Прабхупада казва, че ние вече сме освободени.
He told one disciple, Bhakti Jana, was asking him. It's there in the database, you can read. Prabhupada is saying, actually, your position is you're already liberated.
Шрила Прабхупада казва на един свой ученик, това може да се види в Database, че всъщност ти си вече освободен.
But simply you're covered by the clouds right now. That's all.
Но в момента си покрит от облаци.
So the sun of pure bhakti is already shining in the hearts of all living entities.
Това слънце на бхакти вече сияе в сърцата на всички живи същества.
It is simply due to the covering cloud of Maya that we do not experience pure bhakti.
Само заради покривалото, облака на Мая, ние не можем да изпитаме тази чиста бхакти.
It's not that we don't have it, we have it.
Не е така, че нямаме.
But we're not experiencing it right now because that cloud has covered our consciousness.
Но ние не можем да я усетим, да изпитаме, защото този облак е замъглил съзнанието.
We're deep in the fog of Maya right now.
Ние сме дълбоко в мъглата на Мая.
Tamagun, Rajagun.
Тамагуна и Раджагуна.
But the powerful sun of Krishna's holy name,
Но могъщото слънце на святата
it will burn away that fog,
на Кришна ще разпръсне тази мъгла.
just as we've seen the how the early morning sun, it will burn away the fog that was sitting there during the night time.
Както рано сутрин слънцето разпръсква мъглата, която цяла нощ е била надвиснала.
So in this way, the fog will become cleared away. One will develop natural love for Krishna and Krishna's devotees.
Този начин, когато мъглата бъде разпръсната, човек по естествен начин развива любовта си към Кришна.
And in this way, your life will become perfect.
И тогава вашият живот ще стане съвършен.
So I can ask now if there's any questions.
Има ли някакви въпроси?
Vishnupriya Manaji's hand went up first.
We are hearing the example of fly and honeybee, but isn't it good to see both sides so we can weed out the bad and take the good?
Actually, you do have to see the bad. I don't emphasize that because everybody's already seeing the bad. We need a translation.
Матаджи каза с този пример с пчелите и мухите, не е ли така, че е добре всъщност да се виждат и двете страни, лошото и добрата, за да може да се отдели добрата. И Гурудев каза, че всъщност той не набляга на това, че трябва да се вижда лошата страна, защото така е, че вече всички го правят.
In other words, we have to know what are the proper standards of devotional service given by Srila Prabhupada. So if somebody is practicing Krishna consciousness, but they are disobeying what Prabhupada said, then we have to be able to see that. If we don't see that, then we may follow their bad example. To let him translate what I'm saying. So one should have that discriminative vision to see the difference between what's proper and what's improper. That does not turn them into a fly. If they are more interested to see the good of that person. If their prime interest is to find the faults and not to see the good, then they are flies. But if their prime interest is to see the good, and they also see the bad, so they can help that person become better, then that is honeybee, that is not fly. It is the duty of those who are more experienced in Krishna consciousness to correct those who are less experienced. That does not make the senior devotees into flies. That is their duty. But such senior devotees, they are seeing the good in that person. They don't simply see the bad thing. You understand? Then are they really, my question is, if a senior person is doing something wrong, are they really senior then? They may be senior in years, but are they actually senior in Krishna consciousness? Any other questions? Yeah.
Дъха на Кришна, това са ведическите химни. Мисля, че в Бхагавад-гита има място се казва, че там, където не се говори за Кришна, е място за поклонение на Гарги. Как да направим така, че просто да говорим да дъха на Кришна, да не е поклонение на Гарги? Как да се справи с парджалката?
It is said that the Vedic hymns are the breathing of Krishna, the breath, and it is said that wherever the topics of Krishna are not discussed, it is like a place of pilgrimage for crows. So she is asking how to make our speech more Krishna conscious to avoid prajalpa.
Yes, you have, by reading Prabhupada's books and discussing what's in Prabhupada's books, your talking will naturally become transcendental.
Когато четеш книгите на Шрила Прабхупада и обсъждаш това, което пише в тях, тогава твоята реч ще става трансцендентална.
You can open a book and you can read aloud to the devotees. You're sitting in some room, you can say, let's, and then you can read and then discuss. If you open a book and start reading.
Може, ако си в стая с предана дайни, може да отвориш книга и да почнеш да ми четеш в нея.
Any other question? No, I have a deal going on here with the Pujari right now. He's given me a little slack here. I'm watching him for signals, but I'm under his direction right now. I'm under his graces and his mercy. I'm keeping an eye. When he gives me the nod, then I cut it immediately. Okay?
Примерът с скрипа сина, който беше преди малко. Някой път се налага с любов Пушкин да направим бележка, както той му каза, да не си бърка в носа. И това е направено с истинска любов и загриженост. Но въпросът е понякога този, към когото се опитваш, може да си абсолютно загрижен и беден, когато говориш, но там да не те разберат. По-добре ли е тогава да замълчиш? Какво да направиш това?
He's giving the example like you corrected Kripasida Prabhu during the lecture, and this is done with love and care. But if we are trying to, we have the intention, lovingly and carefully to correct someone, but this person is not accepting it this way. So is it better to be silent or?
Well, if you're not able to, you have to cultivate loving relationships with the devotees so that when you do correct them, they will understand it's not a lording it over mood, but it's a loving mood, you see. If they're not accepting it, it means it means the relationship has not been properly developed between you and that person.
Човек трябва да развива такива взаимоотношения с преданните, че когато ги коригираш, те да разберат, че ти го правиш с любов и загриженост. Иначе ако не го направиш...
When there's an improper relationship, it could mean that you have not been proper in your dealings.
Значи, ако не го приемат, значи, че взаимоотношенията, които си изградил с тях, не са подходящи.
Or it could be that they're not proper in their dealings with you.
А може пък и от тяхна страна, те да не се отнасят правилно с теб.
Or it could be, it most likely is a combination of both.
А най-често е комбинация от двете.
So the point is we have to truly try to love and serve all the devotees. And then when there's a need for correction, then the people accept, oh yeah, because they know it's coming from a loving heart, not a hateful, proud heart.
Трябва да има наистина хубави взаимоотношения между преданните, така че когато се наложи да има някакво коригиране, да преданен да разбере, че това идва от любов, а не от гордост.
Any other question? Yes.
Тук се описаше какво означава да се закрива браманите, какво означава закрива на шатрите и вашите.
in this verse and purport, it was described how the brahmanas should be protected. He is asking, what does it mean to protect the kshatriyas, the vaishyas, and the shudras?
The highest level understanding of protection is to give everyone facility for Krishna consciousness, spiritual advancement.
Най-висшият смисъл на закрилата е да се дава
That is the highest protection.
възможност на всички да напредват в Кришна съзнание.
Material protection is also there. That is secondary.
Това най-висшата закрила. Има и материална, но тя е второстепенна.
They have proper facility for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending.
Да имат подходящи условия за спане, съвокупляване, защита и...
But the primary thing is that they have facility to be Krishna conscious.
Най-важната закрила е да им се предоставя възможност за Кришна, да напредват в Кришна съзнание.
That is real protection.
Това е истинската закрила.
Protecting from what? From the all-devouring jaws of death.
Да ги защитиш от всепоглъщащите смърт.
Mrityu sarva harashchaham. Krishna says in chapter number 10, text 34, that I am all-devouring death.
Кришна казва в Бхагавад-гита, 10 глава, 34 стих, аз съм всепоглъщащата смърт.
So the best protection is you can protect from death.
Така че най-добрата закрила е да ги защитиш от смъртта.
So any other questions?
Други въпроси?
Yeah.
На нас ни липса Вайшнава културата и често се шегуваме недостатъчно изискано. Смята ли се лошата шега, не културната шега, за оскърбление?
We are lacking in Vaishnava culture, and sometimes we joke between each other in not a very proper way. Is this bad jokes considered offensive?
Oh, there's joking and laughing are also there in Vedic culture.
Шегите и смеха присъстват в ведическата култура също така.
But not that one loses one's sobriety.
Но човек не трябва да губи трезвото си мислене.
Prabhupada, he could have a very good laugh. You see. He used to tell about that famous Bengali joker Gopal Ban. And Gopal Ban, he was engaged by the king as court joker. You see. And they would have conversations, you see. Nobody could insult the king. With the joker, he could insult the king, you see. And so the king, he would sometimes spar with spar means like fight, verbally fighting with the joker. Gopal Ban, he would say, Gopal Ban, what's the difference between you and a fool? Gopal Ban was standing there near the king, so he said 3 feet. So Prabhupada sometimes told us these stories. There is joking and laughing in Vaishnava culture.
In one sense, he told the king is full.
Huh?
In one sense, he told the king is full.
Yeah, he was telling the king, you're a fool. Yeah. That's right. Sometimes people joke with us. One karmi I go to, first, one vendor I go to, he has a sense of humor like that. He likes to cut you down. And he likes to joke in that way. So I defeat him by joking, by out-joking him.
Кармите се опита да шегуват с нас. Има един търговец, при който ходи, той се опита така да нареже с някакви шеги, обаче аз го...
I went with my luggage to him, and there was some screws. This luggage has a lifetime warranty, and he's the repair shop. So there were some screws fell out of the luggage. And he looked at me with a grin. He said, where are you missing the screws? Like I was missing them in my brain, you see. Where are the screws missing? He's like with a big grin, a mischievous grin. He said, where are the screws missing? Like in your head they're missing. And I said, in your head. And he said, oh, you defeated me.
Бях си занесъл там куфара или чантата да ми оправя и там имаше някакви липсващи такива болчета.
He appreciated that I understood his joke and I defeated him in his own game. He appreciated that he'd been defeated. He had a big laugh. And I said, oh, they're missing in your brain.
И той ме попита, всъщност, така с много заявил, всъщност къде липсват болшищата? И аз му казах, твоята глава, нали? И той така прие.
So the devotees know how to joke. They're very expert in joking, actually.
Прие това и го оцени. Така че правилно те са много обичат да шегуват и се.
But they don't lose their sobriety. They keep their Krishna consciousness.
Но при условие, че не губят своето трезво мислене и Кришна съзнание.
Bhagavatam class is not a program for sitting and telling jokes.
Но Bhagavatam клас не е програма, която да седиш и да разказваш шеги.
It's very serious subject matter.
Темите, които се обсъждат, са много сериозни.
So our time has now run out. 8 o'clock is the cutoff. I think it's a good cutoff to make everyone happy. So we'll stop here. Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.